All right. So I'm going to do a quick little breakdown. I don't know. It's a breakdown. It's a recap of what did we just watch? The House Subcommittee meeting for the Capital Markets, Securities, and Investments Subcommittee, right? This is the U.S. House of Representatives. And you know what? I'm not going to go to their website. I was there before. But one of the things that we saw, did someone join? What's up? What's up? So basically, and this is also in the cryptosync server, in case people are wondering why I'm pausing and talking to people. But what we just saw was pretty interesting. I referred to it as insane, not because anything major happened that I think is bullish or bearish, if you're going to use those terms for the cryptosphere, but because some of the narratives and mindsets that seem to emerge. And what was surprising to me is I consider myself a liberal, progressive-minded person. I have for most of my life. And I think if I were going to identify with a political party, which I don't, I'd be left-leaning, right? I don't consider myself a right-leaning politically. But what was interesting about this committee meeting is the really I'm trying to find a word that doesn't sound as bad as ignorant, but there's not a lot of better. I guess the alternative would be is that they're purposely saying things that aren't smart. But two representatives that were most staunchly against the cryptocurrency, and really were just using trite narratives about terrorism and, why can't Brad Sherman, a Democrat from California, was insistent on being ignorant about the topic of unbanked people and how not everyone has access to things like dollars and euros and fiat currency in parts of the world. And he couldn't understand that to be the case. He kept asking, well, why don't those people just use dollars or something else? And he couldn't understand why some people just don't have access to that, or they don't have collateral, or they don't have the necessary, assets to meet and care. Like, they were giving really, really simple points about inflation. If you live in a country and your government is debasing your currency, and now, $100 million literally is worth 1 cent, it doesn't matter if you have access to those. People won't trade dollars or, fiat currency that's stable for those things. And he just didn't really seem to care. On top of that, we saw another representative, Carolyn Mahoney, a Democrat from New York City, I believe, home state, just again ask really ridiculous questions and try to frame this narrative of cryptocurrency en masse being used for terrorism and laundering and all of these things. And it's just, these are very easily disprovable notions in many ways. And it's not even worth going into what those ways on this, because if you're listening to this, I hope you have some semblance of an idea of what's going on in the cryptosphere. But what really caught me off guard more than anything was that people couldn't really, they were coming from the left. These are people who are in New York and California who I can only imagine, I have to believe, didn't do the research on these things, of course, but were probably fed questions by aides who maybe, have accepted lobbying money, because it really just made absolutely no sense. And what scared me most about it, not anything with the cryptosphere, still super bullish. We're good to go. Don't worry. If you're in this for the long haul, we're good to go. But what really freaked me out is that these people are our elected officials. And these are people who we probably, if you're not a Trump fan and you're not a big Republican, you don't love seeing all the red everywhere, these are people I think in our home states, our liberal leaning left states, put into office. And that's terrifying to me, because this just, again, is another, notch in the category for this system being broken politically. So this is the first time I've ever had this thought in anything, but I'm debating whether not to go into politics myself. Of course, I'm not completely lost my mind, but to get more politically active and try to get people in there who really do understand this. Like, the truth is I forget his name. I think it was Mr. Emmer from Minnesota. He's a Republican who I thought had relatively sensible approaches to this. Can this be something that's usable? We don't want to stifle innovation. And for the record, I'm someone who does believe that some level of regulation is needed for this paradigm to emerge. I think we need some level of stability provided by our overlords, for lack of a better word. And I know my anarchist friends here don't like this idea, but the truth is that I think we need to integrate with society. I don't think it's a full coup that just happens overnight and now, we've deposed the kings and now we're in charge. That's not, I don't see that as being the case, nor do I think that's probably the most effective way to do this. I'll tell you, the more I listen to, on Audible, Ron Chernow's Alexander Hamilton biography, the more I'm struck by the similarities that exist in what's happening now with cryptocurrency and related to fiat currency. Just entrenched institutions, let's call them the British, financial institutions, banks, central governments. This is the Boston Tea Party. We're done. We're done. We've had enough. I think we've hit that breaking point. And what's fascinating about that is there were very few people. I'm going to get on my Alexander Hamilton shilling pants. There are very few people who are thinking past the war that was at hand and what potentially the financial future would look like. What I think differentiates this period and epoch from this past one is that I think a lot of people are thinking about that. What does emerge from this system, from this current clash of this war that's essentially happening? And this is the early I don't even think Paul Revere has gone down and started yelling the British are coming yet. Maybe, but it's pretty nuts. And so I was really kind of dismayed to see that liberal progressive supposedly and Brad Sherman, just to be clear, he was just so condescending. He's waving this latte or coffee around, whatever it was, and he's just like, I don't understand why people wouldn't have access to money. It's like, well, man, because he's like, I'm old, I've lived a long time, I've never had that problem. It's like, dude, you live in the United States. Like, go to a country that's not doing as well. Or I wouldn't even say our country's doing that well because of the way we treat our people who aren't doing well, but go to a country where like they're destitute. It's just, and he was saying something about Tibet if they had $100. It was just nonsense. So that was a little weird. I thought the representatives, the people who were answering questions from the cryptocurrency space, really quite a few people from Coinbase, who I've not been a big fan of for a lot of reasons, I thought did an admirable job trying to explain what was going on, the legal hurdles and, difficulties they have to face in various state legislatures to make sure that they're complying with all the laws. It was very insightful to see how they approach this. And to me, I think there's enough smart people in this space. This is a train that isn't getting derailed. Another analogy I'd give for people who, came from synchronicity or into psychedelics at all is the work that MAPS is doing in, regarding psychedelic substances and MDMA, whatever it is for PTSD. There's a lot of acronyms in this stuff, but there's tremendous work by very smart and diligent people being done. And I think that to me is what makes me more bullish on this space than anything. And I believe as we're speaking, Bitcoin is going down like pretty hard. And I will segue into the general crypto space talk right now. So I think a lot of people, if you were entering in November and December when things were peaking, if you've been holding and fighting and eking out on active trading, it's probably been a slog for you. Hopefully not. You haven't been losing money, but it's not as easy as November and December were. And again, we spoke about fear the other day, but this is not a time to be panicking. Every fundamental, it's like this. It's like we're big VE Chain fans, right? It's like when the rebranding happened, we got confirmation of a BMW partnership, and then the price just went down. Now, you can take this in a multitude of ways. If you're actively trading, that's your signal that, okay, this is sell the news. We're going to do that, and we're going to move into something else. But if you're in it for the fundamentals and you're not actively looking to move your positions, who cares? All signs point to green. All signs point to good. This isn't speculation. We're seeing the things we would hope to see in terms of real-world application. That's also going on with Bitcoin and cryptosphere. Even if Bitcoin goes to $4,000, $2,000, I don't think it's going below 2. Don't think it's really going below 4, but let's say it does. Still bullish, still happy about the overall trajectory of Bitcoin. It may take 4, 8, 12 years. I don't think it's going to take that long, but it may, because some of the political attempts. Here's the beauty about Bitcoin, though. Here's the wonderfully beautiful thing. And barring a full wholesale ISP, internet service provider shutdown of all things related to crypto, it's decentralized. It ain't going to stop no matter what. I think we should look forward to some loose regulation that will emerge, but I don't think it's going to be able to keep up with the breakneck speed of how this technology works. And what will come, we're not even thinking about that. It's like social media, right? We don't think that this thing that we use every day evolves. Think of for people who are in the Discord server. We weren't using Discord a few months ago. I check it every single day. I'm on it all the time. These things are interfacing with us, and we barely have time to recognize what's going on. That's also happening with crypto. So overall, I'm very, very confident and very, very happy with the state of things. But today in the subcommittee meeting, I was just shocked. It just continues to show that trying to identify, not even taking into consideration polarizing your views or perspectives is such a dangerous thing to do this day if you don't like being totally embarrassed. Because, honestly, I was shocked that the two people who were really just the most virulent opposers to cryptocurrency, just disregarding any logic and sense in terms of looking at these things, they were Democrats from New York City and California. Got legal weed in California. So yeah, that's it. That's the talk today. If anyone has any questions who's in the server, by all means, please go ahead and ask since I'm here. But otherwise, that's it. I was just, otherwise, also just in general, the hearing was great. Some good questions, some silly questions, but I thought, again, the fact that this is happening is all a very positive side. Okie dokie. And that's it for today.